Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. We are going to do the poll reading, what makes you different from other people. I'm actually really excited to do this one. Seems like it will be a very entertaining and fun one as we go along. So with that being said, thank you so much for all the support that you have given me along the way, for being here and gifting me just this beautiful community and this beautiful tribe, for it truly is a gift and I'm so honored. And if you're new here, welcome. This is just a reminder that we are all human and that you are welcome in this place exactly as you are in this here now here moment. So remember that these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what does not, with the reminder that as you interact with my channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in taking me on the go, please check out the description box down below where you will find a link to my podcast, where I do post 3 times a week. The latest one as of this is actually where I'm going into my own journey of celibacy and what it is that I have gathered from that. So that will be down below. It is Scatter Love Radio on Spotify and also Anchor FM. Awesome. So with that being said, we will go ahead and get into the prayer, and then we'll start your reading with choosing your cards. So let me get this lit here. Litty, litty, lit, lit, litty, litty, lit, lit. Let's go get this litty, litty, lit, lit. As always, I'm my goofy self coming at y'all. You know, it's never a dull moment around here, that's for sure. All right. Perfect. Maybe it still wants to burn. Look at that. I'm like, there. Perfect. This is a prayer, my beloved source, for any and all who come onto this video. May they be touched by the truth of your love. May they be embraced by the warmth of your love. May they be guided by the truth of your light and your mercy and grace. Today I ask for understanding. Understanding of all things, not situations. This is more or less understanding of the people that are in our lives. Understanding that sometimes the people that we have invited into our circle are not the ones that are meant to be there for us. And knowing that that's okay. Knowing that we're learning lessons, we're learning resilience, and we're learning how to become our best selves through those that are not meant to be with us on the journey. And while this may seem counterproductive, it truly is a way for us to understand more about our own inner self. And so I ask for this understanding today. I ask for this knowledge that if someone is in a circle surrounded by negative people, by toxic people, by narcissists, by sociopaths, whatever the case may be, I ask that you grant them clarity. Not just clarity on the people, but clarity on the decision that needs to be made moving forward. Excuse me. I ask that you grant them understanding that no footing is to be gained on this journey by holding resentment. And I ask that you hold them in a space of understanding that unconditional love is inclusive. And that loving someone does not mean that we are inviting them back in. Loving someone does not mean that we are coming into a space where we're allowing them to treat us like a doormat. That loving someone can mean walking away to preserve ourselves, and that that's not selfish, but that is a very powerful, empowered place to come from, and is walking in the truth of your light and love and your glory. As these words are spoken unto this space, so shall they be. Amen. Aho, Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's get that out of the way over here. Oh, it's such a beautiful day. The breeze is blowing. Started with this little drizzle this morning. I love the rain. I'm one of those people. Yeah, I love the rain. I'm a water sign. I can't help it. Anything water. All right, so we are gonna, as always, this is like, if y'all know me, this is like my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite deck, my favorite Oracle deck, my Earth Magic, as much as it is just the one that's been with me from the beginning. Sometimes it's hard, right? Like, sometimes it's hard to let go of the one that's been there through thick and thin. And hey, this is my go-to, my ride or die deck. So you see the sun on the trees and everything. It's such a beautiful day. So, Source, what makes the collective different from other people? What makes the collective different from other people? Source, what makes the collective different from other people? All right, let's get into it. So for pile number 1, Source, what makes pile number 1 different from other people? Okay. For pile number 2, Source, what makes pile number 2 different from other people? Pile number 2. What makes pile number 2 different from other people? What makes pile number 2 different from other people? Thank you. All right, for pile number 3, what makes pile number 3 different from other people, Source? What makes pile number 3 different from other people? Oh, my whole deck just flipped over. Here we go. What makes pile 3 different from other people, Source? Thank you. All right, get that out of the way. So for pile number 1, we do have this beautiful shell to choose from. Don't know if it would be better if I turned on this light here. Did that help a little? Yeah, made it a little brighter. Okay. For pile number 2, we have this beautiful rock. Okay, pile number 3, we have this piece of shell to choose from. Okay. Perfect. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Oh, whichever one you are drawn to, that should be the pile for you. Let me see if that helps. No, the sun is just the sun today. Maybe I should pull this down a little bit. Pull that down. I have a double one here. I'm just trying to find good lighting. Okay, that's a little better. There we go. Yeah, so whichever one you are drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And with that being said, I will meet you over on your perspective piles. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to this shell, or if you were drawing to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on what makes you different from other people. I'm going to set this up over here. We'll check that out at the end of the reading. Keep in mind this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave what does not, knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in taking me on the go, make sure you check out the description box where you will find a link to my podcast at Scatter Love Radio. And I do post 3 times a week. The latest one is where I am talking about my journey onto celibacy and what I've learned from that. And if you are interested in a personal reading, please check out the description box where you will find a link to my email and you can reach out to me there. I think that's everything that we've covered. With that being said, let us go ahead and get into your reading and start with the dice and find out, Source, for pile number 1. What makes pile number 1 different from other people, Source? What makes pile number 1 different from other people? What information can you tell us? What makes pile number 1 different from other people, Source? Okay, so we have first house, Virgo, and Saturn energy coming through. Let me get this set up. Actually, I'm going to flip it over here. All right. So the first and foremost is that you do focus on yourself, and you focus on expressing yourself. And you're also very humble and modest. Like, just because you're in a place of self-love and self-care, you're not arrogant. Even though with the first house, you could actually go that way. Very easily, you could go that way. But you don't. So what makes you different is that you're willing to work on yourself while also ensuring that you stay true to yourself, right? In a place of modesty, in a place of being reminded that where you are now came from struggles and difficulties along the way, and that that's okay. So much of the time people forget where they come from, and I keep hearing like, remember where you came from, and it's like that's something that you always keep back in your mind, is like where you came from, and that's what makes you different from others. You also use what it is that you've learned to assist others, to help others, to lead them along their own journey, right? We're dealing with the Virgo energy. This is all about humanitarian, like being of service to others, helping the world. But it hasn't come without discipline, sacrifice, and staying true to what it is that you want. You've been very determined, and you built some kind of structure around your life to help ensure that what it is that you want, you're working hard for. It's almost like being rewarded for the hard work that you've gone through, and the sacrifices and the upsets and everything that you've experienced, but for good reason. Understanding that, right? You could be involved in a company, in a job, or in a business situation where you're actually giving back to the public. With this first house and Virgo together, this is giving me influencer energy. Also, something about your teeth. Like, my tooth keeps bothering me, not in a bad way or anything like that. It just keeps bothering me. So there's something about your teeth that stands out. So maybe you had a lot of work done on your teeth when you were younger, or even just recently, and now you feel more confident, and you're able to smile and show people your true self by smiling from ear to ear is what I'm seeing. But it's like you've gone through a lot, you've gone through the darkness and lifted yourself out, right? And you could call that the dark night of the soul, or you could just call that the struggles of life, whatever it is that resonates with you. You've been through it. When we have Saturn coming in, especially connected to the first house here, you're talking about self-struggles. This is like the things that you allowed along the journey that created a lot of havoc for you without realizing it, and then having to learn those lessons. So like maybe it's toxic people, maybe it's a toxic job, maybe it's a toxic situationship, a living situation, whatever it is. It's like you're realizing now that it's like when you maybe felt like you had no options then, now that you do have options, and that you always had options, but you weren't able to see them at that time. And so there's this energy of coming through like, I want to help others not experience that. I want to help others to be able to see that there's always an opportunity to better oneself and to remove oneself from toxic situations. Especially with this Virgo energy in here, it's definitely about being able to share your experiences with others is what I'm seeing here. That's what makes you different from other people, because it's like most people complain about what they've been through. Like it's an experience that they're willing to use as like, oh, pity me, feel sorry for me, give me empathy, that self-fulfilling like pity party energy. It's like, oh, I feel bad about this, so I want other people to feel bad about this, right? But you don't. You're like, that really was terrible. And I don't want other people to experience that. So allow me to learn my lesson, figure out what that lesson is, and then help guide other people out of that. And if that doesn't resonate with you, then it's just you don't use your experiences as a reason to complain about life. It's like if someone starts complaining to you, you might find that people don't actually talk to you too much when they're like in a very negative energy, because you have a way of looking at life where you're like, people like, oh, this and this happened to me, and you may just say something simple like, you know, it sucks that all that happened, but you're still alive. Like, you still have breath in your lungs. Like, you still, you know, you still have this going for you. You still have that going for you. And so it may just irritate them that you don't show them the pity. That's why I say the pity that they want. Because you didn't expect people to pity you. Or maybe you did at one point, but you realized it never made you feel better. You just kind of escalated things to another place, and you didn't like that. And so that is what makes you different from other people. Okay, so I guess we're gonna use, no, they don't want that one. Okay, I'm gonna use my classic deck, and then we'll see what else comes out. So don't worry, we're just gonna get some information. So source, what makes pile 1 different from other people? What makes pile 1 different from other people? Yeah, you're lucky. You have a lot of fortune. I hear the tides are turning in your favor. And you let go of being involved with toxic situations. And that's brightened you up a lot. It's like brought you into a glow up. And, you know, even if you do have toxic people around you now, it's like you're limiting your contact with them, knowing that that helps you focus more on your journey. Finding a good path. Finding a right path for you. Source, what makes pile 1 different than other people? What makes pile 1 different from other people, source? Whoa. They want to come out this way? Oh, that way. My bad. My bad. Okay. What makes pile number 1 different from other people, source? Okay. Perfect. Yeah, on the bottom of the deck. What makes you different is that you notice red flags right away. You notice when people... You have really good discernment. And that could be because you have really good intuition too, but intuition aside, this is literally being given the gift of discernment. Like, you know when someone's for you or when someone's against you almost immediately. And that might make people angry, right? Because they never were able to knock you up off your path, right? That Lupe Fiasco song is coming through right now. I just switch up unaffected by their threats, hanging busy on that path. What is it when he kicks back and he puts his feet up on their desk? Unaffected by that's what it is. I put my feet up on their desk, unaffected by their threats. And it's like, because people trying to like knock you off your path, like people are trying to make you not shine as bright. But that line is like standing out to me right now, because that's exactly, you're just like so chill about it. You're just like, no, that's cool. Go on with your crazy. Go on with your BS. Go on with what you do. Go ahead. Keep bringing it. See what's going to happen. I ain't even affected by that. Because you notice their red flags right away. And then it's like, because you're unaffected by it, of course, it's like they go from 0 to extreme real quick, right? Like they go all the way to try and get you to react. It's not even about responding. It's like reacting to them. It's like they want a reaction out of you, but because you're always responding and you're not extending yourself, it like kind of makes some other people mad. When it's like most people, that's what most people would fall for they'd fall for the bait, right? This is like hooking bait fishing here, right? Okay. Yeah, you're very committed. Look at this. Makes you different from other people. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my gosh, this is so symbolic. So with the King of Swords in the reverse here, it's like these are the types of people coming in that are trying to manipulate you, trying to smooth talk you into doing what you want. But look at you, okay? Look at you. You're so focused on your own journey, on your own spiritual path, on your own personal development path. This is like being completely like blinders on, going forward, running towards what you want, and not allowing people to empty your cup, especially if they're unwanted. Like, look, you're just totally turned away from them. This is like you facing yourself in the mirror. You may be the Queen of Cups, but when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're seeing that you're this person who is amazing. Or the other way around, like you're the pulp here, and you're looking at yourself as someone who's very kind and compassionate. But this is, either way, it's like it goes back and forth here. It's like you're seeing yourself as someone who's intuitive. You're seeing yourself as someone who gains messages from source, the divine. You're seeing yourself as someone who's capable of running on instinct. You're seeing yourself as someone who doesn't have to worry about what others are bringing to the table, because you bring so much yourself. And then you have people like this who are trying to get a handout. Right? I just want a handout, but it's like they're on the defense, because it's like you just give them that. Like when they want self-pity, it's like you give them wisdom. And because you give them wisdom, they're like, gosh, why doesn't pile one react? Why can't I get pile one to feel sorry for me? Why can't I get pile one to do this? Why can't I get... And it's because you're just not in that energy, you know? Like you have a queen in the upright and a king in the reverse, and the Pope. It's like this is commitment to self-love, commitment to your intuition, commitment to yourself, right? It's the wonderful thing about the Queen of Cups. While she's very kind and loving and she's very giving, she first has to give to herself, which is why her cup is closed. Excuse me. Her cup is closed because she doesn't want people seeing what it is that she's doing for herself. It's okay if you benefit from what it is that you've done for yourself, right? It's like if you've gone through all these self-love processes and you've really taken care of yourself and you do what's necessary for yourself, it's okay if others benefit from that and gain access to your love, but it comes down to you keeping a wrap on your own emotions. You're not going to let others escalate your emotions to another place. Right? And this is so symbolic too, because if you look, she has this flag that comes up and over around her head, showing that she's very connected to the divine, right? And you have the crown sitting really tall on her head. And look, this King of Swords doesn't really have a crown. He has more like a hat, like a sombrero. I don't know why, but that makes me think of a sombrero, right? Like that on his head. It's like kind of loose, right? And this is like the crown is reaching towards the sky, gaining insight. Also with the Pope, you have the two columns back here, talking about like stability, right? And this is connected to Taurus energy. You have the stability back here, but also with his hat that reaches towards the divine, and his staff, which talks about connection between body, mind, and spirit, body, mind, and soul, body, mind, and source. Or if you really want to get to it, this is the God, the Father, and the Holy Spirit, right? The active, the inactive, and the miracle. So it's like this energy of coming in and understanding that when I'm focused on this energy, when I'm focused on taking steps and strides towards what I want, despite the difficulties in my life, I gain the blessings from that. I gain the goodness from that. So they want this one. We'll get some other cards out and see what comes through here for you, pile one. Source, may you please get some clarifiers for pile one. May you please get some clarifiers for pile one. Yeah, there's either one person or a group of people who are really jealous in your, it's like in your energy, right? It's in your aura. It's like this is something that's within your energetic bubble. People who are constantly trying to get something from you. Like they see you growing. They see you expanding. They see you doing what's right for you. And it's like out of jealousy and spite, they're trying to lash out at you and project onto you. Not realizing that they found a gem in their own life that can teach them valuable lessons. Oh, this one won't come out. Thank you. May you please have some clarifying cards for pile number one, source. What makes pile one different from other people? See, and we never have to, like, that's the thing. We don't ever have to take those people for anything, right? It's always taking it with a grain of salt. That's the energy that's coming through here. Taking it with a grain of salt. Because the thing is that it's like we feel like it's personal. It may feel very personal, but in truth, it's just their own inner world is in so much turmoil, right? And when they see someone doing good, it's almost like this thought process of like, well, I've been through so much hard stuff too. Why isn't that happening to me? Right? It's more or less seeing that you're, okay, say you become a weightlifter. This is the only way that's really easy to explain it. You become a weightlifter and you start off and you're so like scrawny, like that's what's coming through. You're scrawny, you have no muscles, you're just really thin, or even if you're chunky, right, you just have no muscle mass, no nothing, like you're undefined, you're just kind of, you know, just really not at all in that place of having the strength that's necessary. So you go and you start to build, right? And you started from scratch. Like we're talking like 5 pounds, and now maybe from 5 pounds you're benching, say like 300 pounds. I know that's a huge leap, but this is the way I can explain it to you here, is you go from 5 pounds and now you're benching 300 pounds. You have muscles, you look good, you feel good, you have strength, you have energy, you have vitality about you. And say these people here, they didn't see you when you started. Now they're just seeing you benching 300 pounds. They see you looking good. And the immediate thought process is, oh, it was easy for pile one. Not realizing the whole amount of sacrifice and work that you had to go through to get from point A to point B. Right? And sometimes people don't. Like, they just see you when you're at your best and they don't realize that it's not like it came easy. Right? Because it never does. Nothing ever comes easy. Everything comes because of persistency and persistence and sacrifice. We have judgment on the bottom. Exactly. It's like thinking that you just had the key to being easy. Everything was simple. Like all you had to do is just plant a seed and it just magically grew for you. And that's not at all. It's like you had to go through stages of egoic death. You had to go through stages of judgment for yourself. You had to go through stages where it was like almost giving up. And the key was right there, but it doesn't matter. It's like you're still growing, and it's like feeling confined to this growth. And that's what makes you different, is because it's like you were willing to sacrifice in order to feel that so that you could get what you wanted. So like we have the Emperor coming out on top of the Pope. We have the 10 of Wands. And we have the 2 of Swords. Exactly. They're not understanding the dualistic nature of what it is that's come from your journey. See, they're seeing you as a boss. They're seeing that they're the ones that have suffered and that you're not, right? With this 10 of Wands coming out over the Queen of Cups, it's like they're like, oh, well, they're the Queen of Cups. Like, they just have it easy because they're so loving or whatever. And it's like, I tried to be loving, but now I'm bitter because of my responsibilities, right? And that's not the case at all. It's like you've had to build it up. And when the 10 of Wands comes out in my deck, it talks about, in reverse, it talks about burdens and responsibilities. But in the upright, we're talking about someone who has made it through, for better, for worse. And they've come out stronger because of that. Now, that could be with a friend, with self, with higher self, with your guides, with source, with another person, whatever it is. But it's like, none of this was easy. None of this was easy. And it's starting to rot. It's starting to smell. And it's like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And you were willing to walk the line. Right? And in walking the line, you were able to bring in success to yourself. But you know what's interesting about this Emperor is that he's on a rocking horse. Right? He's not moving. He's just constantly going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is like that energy of not, it's like doing the same thing, continuing on the journey. This is something that works for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. Why? I have a hardship. I may be rocking backwards, but it means I'm going to rock forward at some point. Like that energy of going back and forth. Like, I'm going to heal this, and then I'm stronger. I'm going to heal this, and then I'm stronger. I'm going to heal this, and then I'm stronger, right? And that's that back and forth energy here. And then you have progress here because you go from 4 to 5, right? Then you have 9 coming through here, which is Hermit energy, showing that you have taken a lot of time in solitude to heal yourself, but also that you're closing a cycle, you're ending a cycle, right? And it doesn't matter. It's like your energy may have other people in their head, but it's like that's what makes you different, is that it doesn't matter how hard things get, you still show up to do what you need to do on your journey. You still show up knowing that I have to change who I am. Yeah, you're healing home issues, right? Cultural and family roots. Home, peace, and comfort. Like you're healing root issues. These are core issues that you've dealt with. This could be who's jealous too, who's in this energy is someone that you are family with or friends with, someone that you've been around. But you're very much in this place of being in a masculine energy, you know, especially with the Pope and the Emperor coming out together. Like, while you still have the Queen of Cups here, like, you're very much in this masculine energy of taking action. This is you building your life, right? This is you doing what you need to. Yes, I love that this came out for you. We have Shark and Purpose, 36. Number 9 again. So 999 could be a very powerful number for you. But we have this energy of you standing strong in your purpose. But again, like that masculine energy, like when we think about a shark, if we were to say, okay, is a shark masculine or feminine? Not the sex, okay? This is literally like if you thought about a shark from a masculine or feminine energy, it would be masculine. Why? Because they're a predator. They're a hunter. They go after their prey. That is a masculine trait, right? And that's exactly what you're doing right now. You're not letting yourself be deterred. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman on here. You're not letting yourself be deterred by that. You're saying, this is what I want, so I'm going to take the effort to go towards it. Like I said, you're staying humble, and so you're gifting yourself to others in a way, and you're actually doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. Yeah, and then we have number 22 on the bottom, learning with sacred ibis. Like, you're learning sacred knowledge. You're learning who you are. You're opening up to your own inner light. And it hasn't been easy. None of what you've gone through is easy, but that's what makes you different, is that you never gave up just because other people were scared, or just because other people, wow, you got like 2 cards coming out here. Hold on, Mama. Let me move that bowl over here. There, is that better? Sorry, my dog, she's like, I can't lay my head down, Ma. Okay. So we had the benefactor come out here with number 2, and then we have 222 coming through. So you may see 222 a lot, and that's trusting the process. It says, I enjoy life now as I take steps to realize my new tomorrow. How symbolic that this would come over this 2 of Swords, where she's walking the wire, right? And it's like, the 2 of Swords talks about leaving situations that are no longer serving you, as well as being on the path to a positive outcome. See, and here you have Mott. It's like weighing the good and the bad, right? What is your heart? Does it weigh against the good? And if your heart is lighter than the feather, then you're going on. And that's what I feel like exactly is happening. It's like seeing that your heart is pure, and you're being gifted these jewels, you're being gifted these blessings in life, and that's what's making these people feel a certain way, because it's like you're actually seeing the fruit of your efforts, right? But they're just seeing you get rewarded, not the effort that you put in. And then we have the Lovers here. I attract love, abundance, success, happiness, and fulfillment. Yeah, and then you have this beautiful card here. So you could very well just be attracting love, and they could be single and they're not getting love, or you're about to attract in your partner. This is your soulmate. This is who you're meant to be with your person, and that love is something that is only once in a lifetime type love. And when people see that, it's kind of like that jealousy. It's like, oh, well, why do they get access to that, right? And so you could very well be attracting in that beautiful type of love. Now let's check out and see what your card is here. Yeah. Look, love and compassion. Exactly. With the Queen of Cups being at the center of your reading here, it's really showing exactly what type of person you are. You're a very kind, compassionate person. We had Virgo here in the middle of your dice reading. I apologize. They're mowing the lawn, so if you hear that. Right? It's like, and it was 26:26 on the clock. That's awesome. So you're this very loving, kind, gentle person. Also, this card literally talks about self-love. This talks about loving self so that you can share that love with others. It's not about loving others. This is literally about loving yourself so that you can share that love with others. And that's what makes you different. And it's like you realize that. It's like even with this card, it's like you're attracting love because you're becoming love. It's not anything that you're doing. It's something that you're unraveling within self. It's like you're learning that as long as I stay in this high vibration of love, that I'll be able to attract whatever it is I want, whether that's riches, prosperity, whether that's happiness, whether that's fulfillment, right? Which I feel like these are all things that you're experiencing right now. You're feeling fulfilled. You're feeling abundant. You're feeling prosperous. And it's like it doesn't have to do with anything that's material or tangible. It has to do with this intangible feeling that you're cultivating from within. And that's what makes you different from other people, because you're cultivating a life of truth for yourself. And this is exactly what you want, right? I attract love, abundance, success, happiness, and fulfillment. We have this beautiful energy coming through here. That's what you are. You're attracting everything that you want in your life right now, and that's what makes you different from other people. Honestly, in a nutshell, it's the truth is that you didn't give up when so many other people would have. Just when things got difficult, you buckled down and you stayed steady and true on your path, and that's what makes you so incredibly powerful and strong and empowered at this point. Okay, so this is what I have for you, Pile 1. If it resonated, please hit that thumbs up button down below. I am going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do just want to take a moment to thank your guides, your messengers, your spirit messenger, your angel source, and my spirit guides for all coming together to give us this message. But with that being said, until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans that were drawn to this rock. Or if you were drawn to this card during the drawing, this is going to be your reading on what makes you different from other people. So I do just want to let you know that these are general readings, so please take what resonates and leave what does not, knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in taking me with you on the go, make sure you check out the description box down below where you will find a link to my podcast, Scatter Love Radio. It is on Spotify and Anchor FM. The current podcast that I talk about is celibacy, my own journey of celibacy, and what it is that I have learned from that. I apologize, they are mowing the grass today, so you may hear them go back and forth. It's not something I have control over. They hire landscapers to do it. So also, if you are interested in a personal reading, check out the description box where you will find my email, where you can send me an email, and I will get you out some further information in regards to that. So with that being said, let us go ahead and start with your dice and find out what makes Pile 2 different from other people's source. What messages can you give us? How can you help us understand what makes Pile 2 different from other people's source? What makes Pile 2 different? So we have 11th house, we have South Node, and we have Capricorn energy. So let me get my block. Your ability to network is the first thing that came through here. Like your ability to help others. Help others release. This is to release what's no longer serving them. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, you help heal others from their own karmic lessons. You know, and then you have Capricorn energy here, which means that you're very, you're very conventional and traditional. I have the hiccups all of a sudden. And the way that you go about it. So it's like you can be seen as like a fatherly figure in their lives, or if not, just like a very stable being that's in their lives, like someone who keeps showing up consistently, someone who, rain, sun, or shine, like you are going to be there helping them through. This is that energy of helping others see that self introspection, right? Like understanding what is it to go and overcome their own internal fears. It's like you make it easy for them. You make it understandable for them. Like, oh, okay, this is how we do it. Like, we got to keep showing up. We got to be patient. We got to be persistent. We got to be, become masters of our own lives. We have to use our intelligence. We have to be strategic about it, right? And through that, you've become a stable being in their lives. So whether that's through work or whether that's through the people just that are in your circle or whatever, what makes you different from other people is how stable you are and how you're able to affect quite a large group of people all at once. So that could be through influences, that could be through speaking, that could be through I'm hearing a pastor, like maybe you talk to people through church or through the synagogue or something like that. Like you're there helping people, and that's what makes you different. Like you're actually willing to do that. Like that's kind of like how your life is. It's revolved around helping others let go of the past, let go of what's not serving them. Excuse me. And so what makes you different though is how stable you are. Like when everybody else like throws in the towel and just basically gives up, you're still there working. You're still there putting 100%. You're still there doing what you need to do to be that voice, to be that person, to be that rock for people. It's like when all other avenues have failed, they know they can come to you. And that's what makes you different. Just this ability that you have to be someone that's consistent in others' lives to help them overcome. So you could also be, I just got like what is it, like a therapy for like AA and like all that, like you could be someone that's there like always at meetings and someone that has been through it and is helping them overcome something along those lines. So, and if those don't resonate with you, it's just your ability to help impact others in a very positive way. Help them change, to help them transform their lives, and to let go of very difficult circumstances, like things that they've never been able to let go of before. And you help them see it from a new light. You help them see it from a new perspective. And that helps them let go. So Source, what makes Pile 2 different from other people? Your ability to let go is standing out as well. So it's like your ability to let go of your own past resentment, your past issues, your past situationships. Like it stands out because it's like, oh, people think, oh, if Pile 2 can do it, then I can do it too. And that's something that's coming through. What makes Pile 2 different from other people? You're ready to face reality too. Like you look in the mirror and you think, how can I make this better? And you work at that. You work at making it better. You're not going to put the blame on other people. Like even if other people might be to blame, you're still coming back to self to understand, how can I be better? You may be a shadow worker, and like when we talk about that, we always hear about light workers, and light workers are great, but there are shadow workers that really just work with shadow energy, and that's all they do. Light workers spread the light, but shadow workers are the ones that really delve into the darkness, the hurt and the pain and the trauma. You could say like a therapist would be a really great shadow worker because they help give you tips and tricks. You have light workers who are just trying to spread positivity and light and goodness and this, and like helping others heal through that positivity. But this is someone who's not afraid to get into the muck, into the darkness, and really explore, hey, what's going on over here? Like, why are we like that? Or why is this going on? Or why is this happening? And understanding that. So don't take it as like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be in the shadow. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that you're willing to do that dark work, where a lot of people, they get so scared of the shadow that they just keep running from it. Even light workers at times get really scared of the shadow, right? And they don't want to deal with it. And it's like you've learned how to embrace that part of yourself. Like whatever it is that's happened in your past was really difficult. Something that could have put you in a position where, you could understand why people wouldn't want to talk to you, or wouldn't want to be around you, or wouldn't want to have you in their life. And, it's like maybe you were very judgmental about people who had done the same thing that you had done. And you had to learn how to accept that. And through accepting that, it actually gave you a key to understanding what shadow is. The duality of self. Yeah, so we have the Two of Wands coming out on the bottom here. Like being able to know which way to go, right? Yeah. See, okay, this exactly depicts what it was I was trying to say. It's like something that you yourself would have judged harshly because of seeing it. Like, it's like wondering how other people are going to look at you. Something you didn't want to face. Something that was very dangerous. Something that was very, like, detrimental to your emotional ego, right? And yet some way, some shape or form, like you face this, and it gave you the direction on which way to go in your path. It's like something that you would have harshly judged others for is something that you yourself have done, and you had to learn how to forgive yourself. Yeah, and start again. Allow yourself an opportunity to have a new beginning, where once you didn't even think that that was possible. Yeah, and it gave you spiritual clarity, right? It gave you spiritual clarity in life, like how to deal with it, how to overcome it. And you have Scorpio energy and Cancer energy here. You also have fire, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. But I want to focus that at the center of your reading is Scorpio energy, and it's in the reversal, which talks about being in the shadow. Right? That talks about being in the shadow of Scorpio energy. But that's so relevant to what I was getting, that energy I was getting, because the shadow aspect of life is what Scorpio naturally deals with. It's like Scorpio delves into that transformative energy. And it doesn't matter. It's like it's something that Scorpio thrives in. It's like that's the darkness, right? Think about it. Used to be ruled by Mars, which is a very aggressive planet. Now ruled by Pluto, which is the planet of transformation. They're trying to rid Pluto of being a planet in our solar system, first and foremost, which is, it's something that's scary, right? It's like something that you grew up learning, that Pluto's a planet, and now we're going to demolish it, which is already scary, which is symbolic. And then you think about it, Pluto is the furthest reaches of our known galaxy here, and our known system. And so it's like it's something that's so far away, but you've somehow brought it close to heart and learned that this is something that brings you a sense of inspiration, a sense of renewal. And it's with that you've learned how to grow and ascend. The Chariot really talks about spiritual ascension. It is a card of victory. But at its core, it's leaving the mundane and moving into the intangible, right? And so that's exactly what has happened here. It's like you're realizing that just because of the actions that you had in your life, they don't make you who you are. It's just something that you chose to do at that time because that's the information that you had. And that has given you the ability to let go of something that once was crippling and find newness to it, and find a newness to yourself, and to embrace some sense of your inner child here. It's like embracing the inner child And through that, you become a leader in your community, in your group, and around your people. And that's what makes you different, is that I could say that you're spiritual, but it really feels like, spiritual or not, it really feels like you just deal with situations that most people have given up on those people dealing with that. So it's like, okay, so the example that they're giving me is like the preacher who goes around the jail and helps like murderers and rapists and tries to help them absolve their sins, right? Like that's the type of work that you do. And it doesn't have to be that exactly, but it's like something that where everybody else has given up on them, it's like you're the one person that still sees them as human and that they made a human choice, and that it's like it's not our right to sit in judgment of others because you sat in judgment yourself. Right? You learned how to deal and face that judgment. You learned how to face that discrepancy within yourself. And realizing that what was once dangerous isn't actually dangerous at all. It is something that's worth delving into. But you have the shadow of the moon, which is the upset emotions. The emotions that are causing anger, the emotions that are causing an influx in our day-to-day, the emotions that actually take over what it is that we're doing, and not give us an opportunity to experience life. Rather, it makes us feel like life is happening to us, right? Like, oh my gosh, like I have to constantly react instead of respond. But you somehow have healed that, and you are actually now a guiding light. It's interesting. You're in the shadow, but you're still a guiding light to those. It's just like you're basically holding this tiny little lantern while you walk in pitch black. Why am I hearing that right now? Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. It's not to say that you've become the shepherd, but in a way you have. You become a shepherd for those walking in the valley of darkness. Because they see, oh my gosh, like I've been judging myself so harshly because of my actions, but I'm not that same person that I was when I did, I'm as good as I once was. I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good yet as I'll ever be. Like that's right. It's like understanding that what I once chose to do, I was really good at that, but now I'm not good at that anymore because that's not who I am. I'm realizing that's not who I am. It's just I had all those situations at that time that guided me to making those decisions, and that's what makes you different from other people, because it's like you once sat in judgment, you once sat in the supreme seat while you had no place to sit there because it was like being a hypocrite. And due to that, you've allowed yourself to heal from that and understand and see others exactly as they are in this now moment, and seeing them like, you know what, hey, you just made a bad decision, and that's okay. That doesn't make you an unlikable or an unlovable person. That just means that you had a human moment, right? Let's get some clarity. Source, please have some clarifying cards out for pile number 2. Excuse me. Oh, I got a tickle in my throat today. Maybe please have some clarifying cards for pile number 2. Thank you. Please have some clarifying cards for pile number 2. Thank you. Okay, may I please have some clarifying cards for pile number 2, source. Okay, they want this one. And this one. Let's see what's on the bottom. Yeah, the 7 of Cups. You've learned how to create boundaries. But look, this is also this energy of being completely different from everyone. Like, here's your hole, but you don't even fit in the hole because you're so different. You're a completely different species. Like, you stand out because you don't blend in with everybody, right? And the 7 of the 7 of coins here, when it's in the reverse, it's talking about a neurotic need of approval from others. But when it's in the upright, it's talking about a unique way to experience life and to bring stability into your life. And so with it here in the reverse, it's like you were always judging yourself because you weren't fitting in. And that may have guided you to making certain choices in your life, right? With the 4 of Wands. Could have been from a home environment, right? But what has created your dissonance in your heart has also equally been the stability in your life, because you've realized that you had to let go of this belief. And so you set boundaries for yourself. And in setting boundaries for yourself, you gave yourself a fighting chance. Like, we have the Queen of Wands coming out over the Page of Wands. And she talks about boundaries. She talks about vanquishing the enemy. Right? Look at this. She's like releasing her dragon to vanquish the enemy. It's like you're realizing, though, that your enemy had to do with something that was very internal, and it wasn't as big as it may have seemed at one point in time. Like, it was something that was taking over every aspect of your life at one point in time. But now it's like you have this way of showing others how to face their fear and face it in a very unique way, right? We have the 10 of Swords coming through here. Yeah, this is something that caused a lot of agony, a lot of anguish, a lot of stress. And I feel like you fought with this a lot too, and it just caused even more mental stress for you, fighting this, like fighting against the shadow, fighting against the hurt, fighting against the pain. And something came to where you had to finally accept it. You had to finally say, I have to understand this part of myself, that I'm capable of doing this, or I'm capable of making these actions, but I'm also capable of change. You know, everybody says no one will change. It's like no one is capable of change, but the truth is that everybody is capable of change, and we don't actually give enough room for people to truly find change, because there's so much judgment coming through. And I feel like that's something that really weighed on you too, because it's like, oh, everybody said you'll never change, you'll always be this, you'll always be that, labeling you. And you had to find the strength in order to change. And that's what makes you different from people, because you actually found a path that allowed you an opportunity to change. So we have the Page of Swords coming out. Yeah, and it's given you not only clarity, but some sense of purity. Right? Realizing that I can connect with my higher self and still be a pure being. I'm not some evil, misfortunate fool that's on earth. Like, I'm literally a pure, loving soul, and I get to experience that. And I have to still fight the darkness, right? You still fight the darkness, but you've learned how to rise above it. And that has given a new sense, a new sense of, I keep hearing initiation. It's like you found an initiation for yourself, right? And coming out over the Chariot, we're talking about moving from the physical, the mundane, the tangible, what we see, feel, smell, hear, and touch, moving into what we sense, right? This is more of a sense. This is more of a subtle feeling. That spiritual, a spiritual place. Yeah, and the King of Cups. I love this. This clarifies everything I was getting. It's like the King of Cups is saying that you've had to learn how to let go of what was emotionally driving you. Right? What was emotionally driving you? What was making you so angry? What was making you so upset? What was making you do this? And that's what you help others to see. You help others to see that they have control over their emotions. And that's where abundance lies. That's where prosperity lies. That's where freedom lies. Peace, harmony. Like, look at how serene she looks in this picture. It's like finding this abundance of peace within. And that's what you teach others. You gift that to others. And it's interesting because there's something about your heart chakra here. Like, see, she has her hands folded over her heart chakra. She has her hands folded over her heart chakra. Right? When we talk about emotions, like, that is connecting with your heart chakra. You have an air sign here. This could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I don't know why I said that. You could very well be a fire sign, but this is Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini energy coming through, and this is Pisces energy, and we have Cancer energy here. But any air sign is connected to the heart chakra, okay? Like, that is something that is connected to our heart chakra. When you have water signs, this is connected to our Svadhisthana, or our sacral chakra, which is this, my right to feel. This is my right to experience life and my right to feel. And the heart chakra is about breathing that feeling into life and knowing that that's okay. And so that's exactly what's going on here. It's like you've learned how to find balance and harmony through your emotions. Oh, my apologies. Hold on just a second. Sometimes she just barks for the sake of barking. I could never even tell you why. Like, what happened just now? Nothing was going on. She just had to bark. So maybe that's just a confirmation from source. So yeah, with that, you've learned how to really connect with your inner being and your intuition. And that's a very powerful place to come from. So let's get some oracles out on it for you. Pile 2. Okay, thank you. Yeah, look. I cannot make this up. We have reliability with goat. Like, you've turned into this stable force for yourself and for others. Like, because you've chosen to be stable for yourself, to show up for yourself, to be there and present with yourself, you're now present and capable of showing up for others without much effort. Like, it doesn't take much. It's just kind of natural, right? Especially with Capricorn energy. When we're talking Capricorn, Capricorns are the workers. Right? Capricorn, anything that has to do with work, they show up. And they're capable of showing up easily and effortlessly. And that's exactly how you make it seem. It's like you still show up in a very easy and effortless way. And that's what people rely on, that they rely on you showing up. And they're always glad that you have shown up. We have house 1, individuality, self-image, and your approach to life. Yeah, you have become the embodiment of healing, because you've healed so much with yourself. And through that, it's like you help others see a new perspective. We have the romantics coming out. I allow romance to touch my heart every day. This is interesting because this makes me, like, we have number 11 coming through with 29. This makes me feel like that's exactly what it is. It's like you had to romance yourself. You had to really fall in love with yourself, but it's like you had to become your own lover. I allow romance to touch my heart. And again, that energy of your heart. And it came out over this one, right? Let's see the picture here. Yeah, like being heralded by Archangel Gabriel here. Connecting with your emotions. Like, we have the planets coming up here. Look, again, coming back to what I was talking about earlier in the reading. How Pluto is the farthest planet in our solar system. Like, you have all the planets coming through here. The moon. You have the moon up here. Being guided through the darkness, and understanding that there's some sort of journey that you're on to understanding yourself. But it's like falling in love with yourself, right? Bringing in that feminine energy and connecting with the masculine energy and letting them bond and integrate with one another. And that's brought love into your life in all different types of ways. I allow romance to touch my heart every day. I'm going to put this here. Yeah, so something absolutely with your heart chakra. We have home body on the bottom. 40. All about stability. I enjoy the secure base I have made for myself and my loved ones. Again, repeating that energy of coming back to reliability. You're stable being in many lives, in many people's lives. And this could just be one person's life, but whatever it is, it's like you bring transformation through your stability by just continuing to show up and do what you do. And it's like you bring in that stability, and that's what makes you different from other people, is how consistent and persistent you are. Pile 2. How loyal you are. We have dog companionship with number 41 coming out here. I love this. Like, it doesn't get more clear than that. Like, people look to you as their companion. It's like, whether that's a lover, whether that's a friend, whether that's family, whether that's just a community, right? With 11th house here, we have like-minded individuals, community energy coming through here. It's like, there's people around you that see you as someone that will be forever loyal. Like, you're a ride or die. You're there for them. Like, you're there to help. And it's like you're always changing yourself. You're always working on yourself. But no matter what, you're still always there. Like, you're someone that they trust and that they can rely on. And that's what makes you different. Because it's like when everyone else has given up hope for them, you show up and you're there. House 7, profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. So this could absolutely be referring to a lover for you. This could be talking about a friend, a business situationship. But when we're talking about profound relationships too, we're talking about people we impact on a day-to-day basis, right? House 7 is connected to Libra energy. We had Libra energy with the Page of Swords coming out here. Right? And Libra's ruled by Venus, and that's very romantic energy as well. But it's like you've learned to love very deeply. You've learned to love yourself very deeply, and that passes on to others. And so you may be calling in your soulmate. However, what I really feel like this is saying is like you've learned to romance yourself, and through that, you've helped others become a stable force in their own lives just by you being you and showing up for yourself and doing what it is that you do best. So let's check out what your oracle card is. Eagle Communion. This talks about connecting with source, like finding space and time and connecting with source. You have the eagle up here, which is all about intelligence. You have this Native American here, talking about that ancient wisdom, that ancient ritual, those ancient rites. What was I saying? Initiation. That's what I kept getting for you. It's like initiation. It's like you've been initiated into this place of being a channel for source without realizing it. And it's like, look, again, in the darkness, even though the sun is here, it's like clouded by the darkness. Did you guys hear how loud that bird is? We have a bird. We have the eagle, and the bird came in. Hasn't been singing at all on your reading, and then just came in so loud right now. It's like you are this guiding light. Again, the lantern, it's like it may be dim, but it's like a sign of hope. You're a sign of hope when no one else has any. And it's because you keep showing up and you keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. And it's offering people a way to see themselves in a different way, but also to see each other in a very different way. And that's what makes you different from other people. What a beautiful reading, Pile 2. I love this. This is what I have for you, though. I'm going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do just want to take a minute to thank your guides, your angels, your spirit messenger source, and my spirit guides for all coming together to give us this message. And with that being said, until next time, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to this seashell, or if you were drawn to this card during the drawing and shuffle in the beginning, this is your reading, Pile 3, on what makes you different from other people. We'll check that out at the end. We will start with the dice. I do just want to say real quick, keep in mind these are general readings, so take what resonates and leave what does not. Knowing that as you interact with the channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. Also, if you are interested in taking me on the go, check out my podcast, which you will find in the description box down below, a link to Scatter Love Radio, which is on both Anchor FM and Spotify. And if you are interested in receiving a personal private reading from me, you will find my email down below in the description box where you can reach out to me and I will get you out further information. So with that being said, let us go ahead and start with your dice and find out what makes Pile 3 different, Source, from other people. Source, what makes Pile 3 different from other people? What information can you tell us? What messages do you have for us? What makes Pile 3 different from other people, Source? So we have 6th house, Scorpio, and Venus energy. Intriguing. So before I started your pile, I kept having this song stuck in my head. Here comes the sun, na 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 na. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Like I guess you bring sunshine into people's lives. So that was just what I couldn't get it out of my head. Like it just kept playing over and over and over again. And so I was like, okay, obviously that is a channel message for pile number 3. But with this, what do we got going on here with 6th house? It has to do with your routines. We've seen that a lot throughout this reading. It's just the ability to show up and be disciplined. But this is more or less your daily habits, right? Like what it is that you do, how it is that you've changed yourself. This could be your health, your wellness, the way you react with animals and pets, the way you deal with injuries. Like you could be a doctor, you could be a physical therapist here. But this has to do with your service to others as well. I keep getting this energy. It's like you work for an organization that deals with hurts and wounds of some sort. So maybe a law office or, like a doctor's office or something like that. That is something that's very strong. It's very specific that's coming through. But if that doesn't resonate, then it's just the fact that you are someone who is seen as a go-getter. right? And you're also not like arrogant about it. Like there's this energy, it's like you're a go-getter for the purpose of doing what you want to do and what serves you and what's good for you, and that it's like you're not going to step on toes to get there. Like you're not trying to, you know, over barrel or run over the next person. I don't know what over barrel means. Excuse me. You're not trying to step on toes though. Like that's the thing. It's like you're not trying to make people look bad so that you can look good. Like you're very much like a hard worker, and it's like your work speaks for itself. Your discipline speaks for itself. The way you show up every day, it speaks for itself. And you're also very secretive, and you can be seen as a bit of an outcast, right? With the Scorpio energy here by a lot of people. But that makes you different. Like it's like, because it doesn't actually bother you that you're seen as an outcast. And you've done a lot of transformation, but you're a very powerful individual. Like you command a lot of respect and you command a lot of attention when you go anywhere. Like whether people know you or they don't know you, it's like you just command a lot of respect, attention. You know, people have their eyes on you. It's like people are watching you. People are trying to wait and see what it is that you're going to do next. And that makes you different from other people, because it's like when you walk into the room, it's like you're the one that draws all the attention. It's not like you're trying to be the center of attention. It just naturally happens because of your energy being so powerful and so transformative. Like you transform others just by being in their presence, and in a good way. But you're like a magnet, especially with this Scorpio energy next to Venus here. We have this very magnetic energy. It's like you're always getting into situations where things seemingly work out for you, and it's like people notice that too. And it's like that's what makes you really different, though, is like you just kind of go with the flow and let things play out the way that they're meant to. It's not like, you know, it's like maybe you were in a state of resistance for a long time and you could have been very destructive in your life, but it's like through that you learned how to become wise and driven and determined toward your life. And now, instead of worrying about what's going on with others and what's going on outside of yourself, you're finding the truth within yourself and you're restructuring your whole life, right? And it's like you have learned that your emotions can be the ending or beginning of you. And it's like you kind of rely on that for your guidance. And you brought in a lot of stability. You could bringing in financial stability now, but it's like you also have a lot of pleasures in your life, a lot of fun, a lot of emotional experiences is what's coming through here, really. You have balance. You're seen as someone who's very balanced, as someone who's very comfortable to be around. You have gifts. You really lean on your gifts. It's like they're very natural for you, second nature. So you don't have to like work hard for your intuition, or you don't have to work hard for your psychic abilities, or you don't have to work hard for those gifts. You don't have to worry about, you know, whether or not you're right or wrong. It's like it's just you trust yourself. The biggest thing here, though, is harmony and being attractive, like really leaning into that feminine energy. It's like whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. You're really leaning into that feminine energy, and that's what makes you different. It's like you're in a world full of masculine energy. You're really relying on your feminine energy to, you know, help you guide through, help you ebb and flow through the day-to-day life. And that's different. That's very different. It might not seem different too. Like I said, it feels like second nature for you. It's like, this is just who I am. And that's fine. It's just that not everybody, you know, not everybody can do that. So let's get some tarot on it. Source, what makes pile 3 different from other people? What makes pile 3 different from other people? Yeah, keep pointing towards the feminine. That Empress energy, that, you know, the Popess energy, like that very intuitive, very caring, very motherly, very receptive, creating a life, birthing a new life into existence. What makes pile 3 different from other people, source? And you're gaining some sense of financial stability from it just by being you. Like, it's it's like you don't really have to work very hard. It's like with little effort. Excuse me. And people really fall in love with you when they meet you. Like, you may not even look like someone that, you know, like, different than other people. It's like they would imagine, oh, for someone to fall in love with you just based on your looks, like, you might not even fall in that category. Like, you might be very unique looking. You might have a very unique body style. And, you know, it's like maybe you experienced a lot of judgment and bully when you were growing up. And now it's like people just really fall in love with you as soon as they meet you. And it's because it has to do with your light shining so bright and being so it just magnetic keeps coming through here. What makes pile 3 different, source, than other people? Yeah, being emotionally sound. Like, you're not overly emotional, you're not dramatic, you're not trying to cause a lot of drama in others' lives. Like, you're just very much in this place of calm and collected and really paying attention to yourself and really paying attention to what's going on with you. And yeah, thank you, source. And that makes you different because it's like everybody else is so worried about putting their noses in other people's business, and you're not. Like, you're not worried about that at all. And also, you have some sort of special gift, especially with this Scorpio energy here next to Venus. It's giving me like some sort of supernatural gift. What makes you different? Yeah, exactly. Look, okay, the 10 of Swords in my deck in the upright talks about having a fight with somebody that's your match. You get exhausted. It doesn't matter what you say. Like, it's always just going to end in both of you guys, nobody winning. It's like just being over it, being done. With the moon here in the family. So, okay, this is something saying that, like, you have let go of this. This is something that you've healed from because of a broken family situation, right? It's like you've healed from a broken family situation and you're no longer bringing that with you. This is like baggage that you've let go of, right? You allowed your subconscious energy to purge that. You allowed yourself to heal, your heart to heal. And again, connecting with the emotional side of yourself with the moon here, it's like you've allowed yourself to really understand why you felt a certain way about things. Like why maybe you got into toxic relationships, like why you got into toxic situationships or toxic jobs or whatever it is. Maybe you went to toxic places, right? Like clubbing all the time or like drinking all the time or something like that. And it came down to understanding your family dynamic. And through that, you allowed yourself to let go of things that weren't yours to hold on to from the get-go, right? However, it was things that were like beliefs and patterns that you had that were overrunning your life. Basically making a self-fulfilling prophecy of me against the world. Let's see what comes through here. Yeah. Yeah, instead of being a self-sabotager, you learned how to inspire yourself. Yeah, so much inspiration. What's this? Judgment in the reverse. Yeah. So there was a point in your life where you wanted to blame others for the situations that you maybe got into. Like, okay, if this was like a toxic relationship, there was a point in time where you may have easily blamed the other person. Well, they're the toxic ones. They're the ones that are this. They're the ones that are that. They're the ones that are this. And instead, it's like, this definitely feels like being able to help heal sexual relationships and family dynamics. That's what this feels like. That's what makes you different from other people, is that you're able to heal that, right? And then eventually what happened is like you realize that, okay, it's happening so much. These situations are happening so much that there's only one common denominator here, and that's me, right? So looking into that, it's something that you didn't want to heal. Like, look, when you have this page of wands next to this judgment reverse, it's like you're blocking this from coming to you, right? It's like saying, I don't want to heal from this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to even look at this. Like, I'm not sure what this is going to bring into my life if I actually heal it. But eventually it just happened so much that you had to realize, whoa, hold on. There's only one thing that's common between all of these situations, and that's me. So is it something that I'm doing? Is it something that I'm saying? Is it something, and instead of like beating yourself up and saying, oh, I'm not enough, it was like understanding that, wow, I grew up in a very broken home. Excuse me. Even if you had a very loving home, even if you had like what you would consider a very loving home, like family that was still together, not like a divorced family, like someone that was still together, realizing that there was a lot of toxicity that was in your home, a lot of interference, a lot of unwanted interference from others, right? And realizing that that has actually shaped you in such a way that subconsciously you were causing self-sabotaging patterns, and you were also connecting with people who would fulfill that for you, right? So it's like if you were a self-saboteur, then there would be people who would trigger that self-sabotage within you. And so it's like that pattern it kept coming up. And when you actually looked at that pattern, you healed a family dynamic. And what makes you different is the fact that from healing a family dynamic, you found huge inspiration in your sexual life, right? This could be sexual creation. This could be sexual transmutation. This could be, so I am hearing tantric, like maybe you do tantric yoga or you do practice tantric practices. But it's like you've learned that you don't have to be in this energy in order to enjoy life, right? You learned that this is something that, while at one point it was scary to even face, at one point it was scary to even think that maybe I was a problem, you're now understanding that it wasn't you being a problem, it was just you living in karmic situations, right? In karmic debt, basically. And it wasn't even yours to carry. Like, that's the thing. It's like everybody's like, oh, you must have done something wrong in a past life in order to ensue all this karma. But really, most of us are suffering from the karma from our parents and from our grandparents and our great-grandparents and so on and so long down the line. And it keeps escalating every generation until one generation says, enough. I can't live like this. Like, this is not healthy. This is not freeing. This is not what life is. And so with the moon coming out here, it's saying that you chose to look into this. You chose to plunge this out of your subconscious and to heal from it, and realizing that it could very well have been connected to the mother wound, right? We have Piscean energy here. This does point at the mother wound with the Eight of Cups and the moon card together here. This points at the mother wound, not being able to nurture, not being able to receive, right? Give and receive love is a very nurturing aspect. Not only are you nurturing and loving to others, but you're capable of receiving it when it comes back and not being like, oh, no, I'll give it to you, but I can't receive it, which is where a lot of people run into issues. And so what makes you different is that you've learned now how to connect in a way of receiving that and not being in this place of worry, right? And self-betrayal and self-sabotage and self-hurt. And so it's like answering the call. And this is a new beginning for you. And that's different, right? And that's what makes you different. That magnetic energy. As I'm saying, like you're a very attractive individual. And so your sexuality is what drives you to do things. And that's why I'm saying, like, it could be tantric, this could be a kundalini awakening, but it's different for everybody. So only you know what it is. And always, I'm just going to say, always be honest with yourself. Don't try to make it something that it's not. Okay. Like don't try to do that. Because it's like, this could just very well be that you've really embodied and embraced your sacral chakra. And through that, right, what I was saying, those psychic gifts, well, that comes from our sacral chakra. All our psychic gifts are when our sacral chakra is balanced and our third eye is balanced. And then we're able to really relish in our psychic gifts. And so you've learned to heal the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is my right to feel, which actually does come from the second 7 years of our life, from years 7 to 14, which is, they talk about, oh, that's when you go through puberty and that's when you feel like you're the most outcast. Well, most times when kids experience that, they're very much put in a position where it's like you're just being this way because of, not because you feel that way, not because that's something that's very real and valid for you. There's always an excuse that's put on top of that. So it's being invalidated from that. And that's what disconnects us from our spiritual gifts, is that invalidation. And so there's this sense of inspiration and validation for self here that's coming through. And it's almost like you're your own muse, right? Like you're your own inspiration. You're your own muse. You're the one that inspires you to paint, to cook, to do whatever it is that you do. You're the reason. I found a reason for me to change who I used to be. A reason to start over new. And the reason is you. Yeah, so that's what's coming through. So, but that's the thing. It's like you're your everything. And that makes so much sense with the Venusian energy coming out, which is connected to Aphrodite. And Aphrodite is the goddess of love, but she's the goddess that is too good to have another love. Like, she's just too good for everybody because she cares about herself. She wants to love herself. She wants to be in her beauty and in her awe and not worry about having to please another person, because she knows her worth, right? She's the true embodiment of self-worth. And it's like that song Glamorama, you know, it's like she won't she'll never fall in love because ain't nobody good enough, right? Like it's by Bryce Vine, I think, if you guys check it out, Glamorama. I have a couple quotes in one of my decks from that. But yeah, it's like you're constantly working on yourself. You're constantly surviving. You are constantly making life better for yourself. Look, I cannot make this up. Look at the image on this card. Looking in the mirror. Right? Seeing yourself in a different dimension. You like basically woke up in a new reality. We have the Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands right next to each other, making progress. Realizing that I don't need a whole bunch of other people in order to be satisfied. Right? And these are all very self energies. Like the 6th house, yes, it's humanitarian, but it's like you're teaching others to be habitual on their life, right? And through that is through very secretive, very personal energy, which is Scorpio. And then you have the goddess of love, Aphrodite, with Venus energy here. So it's very much like you're teaching others. That's your service to others, is loving yourself and embodying that self-love and realizing that, you know, bringing that to others is going to help the world become a much more stable place. Instead of getting involved in these really awful situations, right? Like, a lot of people get involved in some really dark situations. So we have the 8 of Coins. Look at that. Yes, so we have a lot of... This is very Scorpio energy to me. Even though this is a Virgo card, this is very Scorpio energy to me. It's like that very... like that hush-hush, like what people don't want to talk about. So you may be seen as someone who is like, oh my gosh, like pile 3. We don't talk about pile 3. We don't talk about Bruno. Whoa, whoa. We don't talk about pile 3. Right? Like, that's the energy that's coming through here. It's like because people see you as being selfish or being like unorthodox or being like too risque for them, but you're not. Like, you're just embodying the true nature of love, and that came from self-love, right? I feel like you get both of these. Okay, on the bottom of the deck, yeah, 5 of Coins. Something big is changing in your life. Something big is moving. Like, you're about to experience something other than what you've experienced before. Just a second, Mama. Not sure if she wants water or what. She's over there wiggling around. We have the 6 of Coins. You've learned that in order to gain balance in life, you had to give that to yourself. And the only way to give that to yourself was to heal from your past, to heal from the hurts, to heal from the wounds, to heal from the upsets. Right? And it's interesting because mice, when you think about mice take away. Like, it's a loss, right? And that felt like a loss to you, was dealing with this face to face. But at the same time, it finally brought in that that balance and that good energy, because it's like I had to lose what I once was in order to gain who I am now. Balance and harmony. And then we have the Emperor coming out clarifying that, yeah, and that's what turned you into a boss. You boss it around, like you basically come in and you're like, this is who I am. I am this unique person. I am this odd individual. I am this amazing energy, but I'm not going to judge myself anymore because you don't think I belong. I'm not going to judge myself anymore because you think I'm weird. Right? And I'm also not going to argue with you about it. Like there's this energy of like maybe before you were trying to defend yourself, and that's what makes you different, is that now you don't feel like you need to defend yourself because you're just an embodiment of who you are, very authentic. You're becoming more and more authentic each day. You're letting go of what's not serving you, but it's like it's all coming back down to self. You're looking in the mirror, right? Why do I hear that Michael Jackson song is like the man in the mirror? I'm not exactly 100% sure how that song goes right now because it's not coming to me, but that's what I heard. It was like Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, right? Like it's like he's talking about looking at the man in the mirror. And so it's like that's what I keep getting. It's like you're looking at the person in the mirror, whoever you are. Yeah, and you found your will from that. Like we have 34 here with Tiger and Will. This is like you've gained such willpower. And it's interesting here because it's like this card points to feminine energy, right? And I don't remember if this is Shakti or not. I can't remember the goddess of this on the back of this card. I'll have to look it up eventually so that I can remember. I just take in so much information all the time that sometimes it gets jumbled up in there. My Rolodex is a little slow today, guys. But this talks about being powerful in the world, especially if you're a woman. And that's exactly what this card talks about. We have that again with the Venusian energy, that very feminine energy here. It's like not being afraid to take action based on that feminine energy. Self-love is a very feminine energy. It's a very receptive, receiving, giving energy that you give to yourself, nurturing and compassionate. And not being afraid to embody that. That's exactly what it is. And you found a very powerful energy because of that. Look, and then we have 36 purpose coming out. And this is your path of purpose. Like whatever this is, you're on your path of purpose. You're doing what you're meant to be doing. So don't question that ever. If you ever come into a place where you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But I love that these two came out together because this feels very balanced and masculine and feminine energy. Like you're a very balanced person. You know when to take action, but you also know when to sit back and receive. And that's a very powerful place to be at because you're not constantly trying to impress upon or to do this or to do that. It's like, how does this feel for me? Just a second, Mama. I think she wants some water. Either that or she's uncomfortable. Let's get some cards. Source, may I please have an oracle card for pile 3? Whoa. I got you. Whoa, okay, they want this one. Those just fell out because I dropped the deck. Okay. Yeah, and your relationships have definitely been impacted because of this. We have profound relationships, intimacy, romantic partnerships. Alright, so let's get one more out. Can you please have a card source for pile 3? What makes pile 3 different from other people? Okay. Very action-oriented here. Again, like Sagittarius. This makes me think of Sagittarius energy. Like being able to point your arrow and drive it home to where you want it. And knowing that you always have options too. Like you have multiple arrows here. It's like you always have options available to you. Look, and the forgivers on the bottom. I forgive myself and others with compassion for human frailties. And this is that, the picture there. Yeah, so it's like you had to forgive your family for what they passed on to you. Knowing that healing that is what made you stronger. It made you able to take action. This definitely gives me the Page of Wands energy as well. Being able to find some sense of stability in what it is that you wanted and create a life of abundance for yourself. Right? And to stand grounded while reaching tall to the sky. We You're the experimenter with 23. I am strong and secure enough to experiment as I see fit. Yeah, so you do what works for you, right? Exactly what the AC just turned on. You do exactly what that Emperor energy is, like going after what you want. And you don't hesitate. Let's see what this card was. House 10. Structure, discipline, life, mission, accomplishments, and career. So another confirmation that you're doing what you're meant to be doing. We have life, mission. You're accomplishing a lot here. You could very well be building a career out of your life mission, whatever that is. But this is saying that as long as you stay determined and disciplined on the journey, you will get to where it is that you want to go, and you're gaining everything. Let's check out and see what your oracle card was. New Moon Promise. What makes you different from others is that you make a promise to yourself and you keep that promise. And because of that, Source keeps the promise to you that you will get whatever it is that you want, whether that's love, abundance, clarity, truth, finding your purpose, whatever it is. You've been given that, right? You've been given access to the deepest recesses of who you are, and learn that that's where you begin to manifest, is by finding balance within those emotions, and that's where clarity comes from. So what makes you different from other people is the fact that you're capable of allowing yourself to grow and to ebb and flow with the seasons, but knowing that as you do that, you're gaining strength, you're gaining clarity, and you're gaining some kind of inner truth from that. And through that, you will be gaining all that it is that you've asked for, your abundance, your money, your finances, your love, your life, whatever it is that you've asked for, it's coming to you, which we see with the Venusian energy here is you're turning into a gigantic magnet. You're drawing in whatever it is that you want, right? With the 5 of Coins here, something big is about to change in your life, and that's what makes you different. You held on when no one else wanted to. Okay, so this is what I see for you, pile 3. If it resonated, leave me a thumbs up down below. But I am going to go ahead and leave it there and get on out of here. I do just want to take a second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angels, Source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.